Welcome back. Good Thursday morning, everybody. Thanks very much for being here. I'm Maria Bartiromo, and it is Thursday, August 31st. It is 7 a.m. on the button on the East Coast. Time for the hot topic of the hour. Former President Trump praising GOP presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy when asked if he would consider him for potential vice president. Watch this.
I can't get upset with him, but he's a smart guy. He's a young guy. He's got a lot of talent. He's a very intelligent person. He's got good energy, and he could be in some form of something. I tell you, I think he'd be very good.
Yeah, in fact, Mark, when I interviewed President Trump about a month ago, I asked him if there's anybody on that stage he could see as his vice president. And he said no. Nobody. But he did suggest to me that Vivek could be a cabinet member. We'll see how all of this plays out.
Yeah, so look, there's a first time for everything. I don't think I've ever heard President Trump compliment his competition.
That's true. Yeah,
there's a first time for everything. So I thought that was kind of a big deal. But I think it also speaks to the fact that if President Trump is willing to compliment him, he doesn't view him as a threat. Now, going into the debate, it seems like all the other candidates up there did view Vivek as a threat because he's the only one they gunned for. Personally, I mean, I think it could be a strong ticket, Trump and Vivek. I mean, that could be a 12-year power ticket, right?
I still don't think that's his that's his pick. Based on what he told me, maybe Vivek gets in a cabinet. But again, we don't know what happens with President Trump.
Right. Well, and
indictments.
I don't think he's the VP pick for one simple reason, which is that Trump likes the spotlight. And you cannot have a guy on the ticket who is just as good at pulling the spotlight as Trump. Vivek is very charismatic. I mean, he was definitely the star of the first GOP debate in the ability to sort of deflect attacks and go after other people. And I think it's for that simple reason that Trump wouldn't want him on the ticket.
Yeah. Well, a new Economist YouGov poll finds that the presidential race is getting tighter, with former President Trump and President Biden nearing a tie in a hypothetical matchup. Trump says he beats Biden, though. Trump inching ahead of President Biden by 1 point at 44%. So, Krysia, it's been neck and neck, but now Trump seems to be pulling ahead. But again, these numbers are so close.
These numbers are so close, and I'm always skeptical of polls. But the real numbers that don't lie are the fundraising numbers. After Trump's latest indictment, his team released numbers that they raised over $9 million. I mean, that's where the truth is. The money matters. So in this case, I think the more indictments that occur, the mugshot certainly was horrific. It really relates to our nation in terms of being a banana republic. I think any of those images going forward will only help Trump.
Yeah, and we look at different groups. Talk about young people earlier. They're moving increasingly toward conservative principles. Also, the black community. You saw that video, Kaylee, online in terms of black America saying you want to continue to indict, then we're uniting.
Yeah, but I do think that there was a recent AP poll that I find a bit concerning where voters were asked to describe the two leading candidates, Joe Biden and Donald Trump, with certain words. And for Biden, they said he's old and confused. And for Trump, they said corrupt and dishonest. What does that say about the state of our politics right now? That voters, a vast majority of voters, dislike the two leading candidates so much. I mean, it's concerning to me moving forward into 2024. And I do have legitimate concerns about whether, if Trump is able to win the primary, whether he could win in a general for that very simple reason.
There's a lot of anti-Trumpism.
Yeah, and definitely a lot of anti-Trumpism.
Yeah, but there's also a big portion of the people who are mad as hell about the two different applications of the law. And they're saying Trump is getting persecuted for political reasons, and as a result, they're going to get with Trump.
And then you made the comment about the black community. Yeah. I mean, they're the whole two-tier system of justice resonates with that community. And I think that's why they're coming to Trump's defense. What I think is very interesting is this could be a kind of year where that third party, maybe it's No Labels or whoever it is, could play a meaningful part in that 2024 election. We really haven't heard much, on that end of the spectrum so far.
Yeah.
But I think that could be a difference maker.
Yeah, but who does that take votes away from? I reported months ago that I had gone to a party this summer, and somebody told me that Chuck Schumer went up to Joe Manchin's daughter who I know very well, Heather Manchin, and told her, tell your father to get it out of his head.
Yeah.
So the Democrats are pushing back on Manchin, trying to be that no labels person.
My personal opinion is if Manchin was that person, he would steal votes from Joe Biden.
Yeah.
That's my perception of it.
That's probably why Schumer said that.
Without a doubt, yeah.
And I think the point that you make is a great one about a potential independent party making a good play, because I think about even my own people my age, Gen Z voters. You look at how they voted in the past couple of elections, and they are much more likely to identify as an independent than they are a Republican or a Democrat. And there was a recent New York Times poll of Gen Z voters that found this is really interesting. They supported, when asked if they supported any of the Democratic candidates, they were far more likely to say Marianne Williamson or RFK Jr. than Joe Biden.
Yeah.
They're not establishment voters. They're just not.
And yet the Democrats are saying there will be no debate. There will be nobody else taking any market share from Joe Biden. He's our guy.
I think in that case, that's why we like Vivek. The millennial voters want him because it revives the party. It's a fresh face for the party. And whatever you want to say about the Republicans on stage, yes, they debated. We have a deep bench as opposed to the Democrats who really have no one at this point. We don't even think Joe Biden is capable in the next election cycle.
Joe Biden got his butt kicked in the primary debates in 2019.
Right,
he did nothing. by Kamala.
Yeah.
Right. So
he was in the basement.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't even winning until everyone magically dropped out on Super Tuesday, right? Everyone dropped out right before Super Tuesday.
Well, this Super Tuesday, the big topic of conversation could be President Trump's trial.
Yep.
Since they want the trial the day before Super Tuesday. What does that tell you about this whole process? By the way, don't forget about Nikki Haley. She did well in the debate as well.
She did very well.